traders, happy May. This is the first day of May, and we are going to change it up this month yet again. I'd like to actually get back into live trading this month. I've been practicing now for quite a while, probably close to a year, and I would like to get back into it again. So this is the month that's going to happen, but I've decided that I'm going to step back into it kind of slowly. I'm not going to start with a great big dollar amount right off the bat. I'm going to start by trading the MES, which it is a minimum initial requirement of a little over $1,700. And so I'm going to give myself a little bit of a buffer in my account. So I'm going to start with a $2,000 account. And I'm going to still try for my 40% a month because in my past few months of practicing, I've kind of decided that that was a pretty good dollar amount that I could get. I felt comfortable with it. The risk-reward ratio all matched up pretty well. So if I'm making 40% a month off of $1,700, we're talking $680 a month, which works out to $170 a week and $34 a day. Now, I don't want that to be a number that's like I have to make that amount or I'm not going to be happy. It's just kind of an average. If I can kind of hit close to it, that'd be good. And the MES is a little trickier to trade because the commissions to the amount that you make is quite a bit different than the ES. So you actually make $5 per point, which is like, it looks like $1 on the screen. However, the commissions on one trade is about $5 or $6. So you're going to have a much bigger movement in order to really start accumulating the money. So this is what makes trading the MES a little bit trickier. But it isn't impossible, and I think I did. Let's see, what was it? A few months ago, I traded the MES, and I made like over 500. So I know that it's possible. When you start trading for real, your mindset changes a little bit. But once you kind of get into the swing of it, and if you can keep your habits going from when you were paper trading, and kind of just don't think of it as real money, but think of it as if you were paper trading before, you'll find that you trade a little better, hopefully. So that's my goal. So the rest of this week, I'm actually going to be just practicing the MES and trying to meet this goal. So here we go. Let's look at what we did today for trading. Okay, I started the day by looking at the 4-hour chart, and we've had a very interesting, somewhat volatile pattern the past couple weeks. We can see that it started to downtrend and then it went up. So I drew channels for both of those, as well as the original uptrend channel that we see over here. However, the overnight trading, actually it wasn't overnight, excuse me. Yesterday's trading took a nosedive and it actually broke through the bottom of that channel. That's a little bit surprising right through there. And we've kind of hit a bottom here and bounced up a little bit, but then it dropped back down again and actually hit a low that was lower than the previous low. So I think we're going to have to recalibrate a little bit and figure out what in the world is going on. So I drew the Fibonacci line showing an upward movement, and we can see that we are sitting at the 100% line here, which is acting a little bit as a ceiling, it kind of looks like. And it also looks like to me that the MACD is super high and it looks like it's ready to drop. So we can also see that it is a downtrend because of our blue line here. However, if you look at the shorter term charts, which we can see, it looks like maybe the downtrend is evening out and possibly will come back up again. So I drew in a few more price lines. We've got a dotted line, which is the nearest low. That's probably going to act as a support if it does drop down to that point. You can see that from right here. I drew in the lowest low over here. And then I drew in some price lines that were above that seemed fairly reasonable as good places it might act as a ceiling. So here's one right here. It isn't, it was kind of the highest point before this high. And it also kind of looks like this area right here was acting as it was still acting as a resistance level from back here. And then there's the highest high over here, the highest peak that we've had. Okay. So I decided that I want to wait to do a short, and simply because it is downtrending, you want to trade with the trend. However, the 15-minute chart here, it looks like it's actually gone above the gold SMA. So I want to be really cautious in getting in. And I can also see that we have another kind of a goal point up here where I would not be at all surprised if it gets up to that point, because that's also matches up with this point right here. That'll probably act as a ceiling. It doesn't quite add up or match up with our Fibonacci lines right here, but it's still a pretty good ceiling point that I think it might actually get to. Even though it might still be downtrending, it could well go up to that point. So I don't really want to get into a short quite yet. I'm waiting for it to show downward signs, downward movements. So look at that. It went right up to that blue line, and it kind of started to show some big signs, some big red candles, the signs of dropping. So I decided that was enough for me. I'm going to go ahead and get in. And also the MACD is just now crossed as well. So I think this is really good timing. So I did a short order here, got executed, and it went up a little bit, tested that line again, which was unfortunate, but it did exactly what I expected it to do. I have an order in here at the gold SMA, and this is right where it went to. It's possible, again, that it will drop below that point, but this is a good support level right now, and I'm happy with that trade. That's a good movement right there, good trade. Okay, so I'm out. The first trade I made, $18.75, which doesn't sound like a lot, but again, trading this, that's a really good trade. That's a good movement. To kind of help, if you're used to trading the ES and you're dealing with the bigger numbers, just move the decimal point over one place, because this is a tenth the size of the ES. And so if you think of that as a $187 trade, for the ES, that's pretty good. That's usually what I shoot for. It's around a $200 trade. So, if I can make $20 per trade on this one, that's about what I'm shooting for. Okay, so now we're looking at the MACD as kind of leveling out and possibly tipping up. But again, we're in a downtrend, so I don't really want to go long. However, I am kind of changing my mind about that, because I'm seeing that the lows are kind of getting higher right through here. And I think we might possibly be working on a trend change. And also the MACD is really looking like it might be going up. So I decided to take the risk and do a long position here. And again, this is probably as high as it's going to get to this blue line, but this is a good trade if I get executed here. Okay, so this is a little bit iffy, but I did get into a long position. It did drop a little bit, and I'm kind of watching it, and I've got my exit order in at that blue SMA, wondering if it's a mistake, because it doesn't look like that support held very well, and it looks like it might be dropping. So, and if you look at the 15-minute chart, I'm kind of worried about it. I do think we'll probably have a little bit of an uptick, so I can probably get back some of my losses. And I haven't lost a whole lot yet either. So I'm hanging on. It just kind of like flickered up very, very quickly. And I was actually looking at another screen. I was distracted. And I had my order in, and it actually went above my order, but it did not take it, which I thought was interesting. Not sure if that would have been the case if I was trading real money, because it often executes a lot quicker that way. Paper trading is often a little delayed. So I felt like I was kind of gypped right there, but also justified to a certain extent because it did get up to the point I thought it was going to get up to. And then we immediately responded with a red candle. And right through here, it started moving very quickly. And, there's just like big movements up and down very quickly, which is a little scary when you're trading like that because your reaction time just isn't quick enough to deal with that. So you have to just look ahead, plan your moves, set your amounts, set your orders, and then just leave it instead of trying to react that quickly. And so I decided at this point, I just felt like I should probably be in a short still. And so I did a kind of a reverse order here. I put in 2 orders, so that'll get me out of this one at a profit and get me into a short, which is, I think, a good thing to do here. But I kept missing it. It went up pretty close to where I was. You can see it went up like really, really close to it. But then I kind of missed out on that. So I decided, nope, I just really want to be in a short. And I've lost all the profit that I made on that first trade. And I really don't want that to happen. So I put in my reverse order, dropped it down, and it's probably going to get executed here very shortly. And again, it's frustrating because paper trading is just taking a long time. So it finally took, let me go back again. It took at 49.25, which was 1 tick above where my order was, and it immediately dropped. So I was very glad that I had done that because now I'm in a positive position again. And it went back up again. So it's like all over the place, which is also kind of a sign that we have hit bottom and we are doing a reversal. That's actually a pretty decent sign that it's probably going to go up. And even though this blue line is showing a downtrend, I am actually more comfortable being in a long. I finally decided. And especially since I redid the Fibonacci line in a longer time frame, you can kind of see this is laying it out so that it's showing a drop. And if you look here, we have hit that 100% line, and it's kind of acting as a floor. So I think that's very interesting. And also kind of backs up my theory that it's done dropping for a while and it's going to head up. So I'm here in a short position, and I think it'll probably drop back down to the 100% line again. But I think I've decided for sure that I do want to be more in a long position. Okay, so it's dropped down here, and I'm holding my order here, and I held it, and I was very proud of myself because I didn't chicken out there at the last second, and it went right there, and I got into a long then. So I made money on that drop, and I'm in a long position, and it looks like it's going to go up. So it does look like it bounced off of that 100% line. So I was very happy about that. I put in my exit order kind of at the blue line. Again, it's possible, looking at the 30-minute chart over here, very, very possible that it's going to get up to the 78.6% line again, which is also the gold SMA. But that's all the way up here, and that is just too big of a trade for me. So I'm happy with getting out at this point. And there we go. It went almost up to that point, and I didn't know if it was going to get up past this gold SMA or not. So I put in a stop order, and it hit it, and so that's fine. I made good money on that trade, and I'm just kind of waiting it out. Probably going to wait for it to drop down and then get into another long. That's kind of my goal. Okay, maybe not. Changed my mind. So I think it probably will drop back down to that 100% line again, and I decided that was a big enough trade for me. So I don't necessarily disagree with that now. It's a little bit risky. I probably should have waited, but anyway. So I got into a short here and put in my exit order there, and it went up a little bit, and it's going to drop a little. I'm kind of looking at my bottom line. I'm aiming for 188, so I'm really, really close to it. And I am getting more and more certain that it's going to go up at this point. So I decided because of that, I would go ahead and do a reverse order and actually do another trade because I am so much more certain now than I was when I started trading what it's going to do. So I drew in the pennant pattern here, and you can kind of see that it's developed, and I suspect that it will get down to the bottom of the pennant pattern, maybe not quite 100% line. I kind of gave up on waiting for it to drop here and decided, nope, I just really want to be in a long right now, and I will take this trade, which is basically break even. Because remember, the commissions cost about that amount right there. So switching positions here, and I'm really glad that I did because it was a great big green candle next, and I put in an extra order up here, waiting for it to see if it will break through the top of that pennant, and it did. So I'm just holding out there, and it went above it before it took it, and there we go. I actually made a little bit more than my goal, which was awesome. And I also feel a little bit more confident about which direction it's going for the day. So here's my trades. You can see I made 6 trades, and all but one of them was positive. One was really tiny, basically break even, and then the others were decent. They were conservative, decent trades. And so that's why I think making 40% this month is very reasonable. And I think that the next 3 days I'm going to be practicing, and hopefully I can maintain that. We'll just have to see how it goes. And when that happens, then I will start trading for real on the 6th of May. So thanks for joining me.